Danny.
And I'm Brad.
And this week I'm going to kick off with a Penfolds. This is the bin 389. We have done another bin earlier in the year. We thought we'd seen the last of the 389s, the 2004 vintage, but amazingly somebody must have misplaced a pallet or two and they're out in the shops again. So this one, it's not inexpensive. It's around about $40 you might get it down to. Retail is a little over the 50 mark, but it's a great wine for cellaring. This, I think maybe up to 20 years. It's got great tannins, those drying sort of notes, but huge oak in there and a lot of fruit on the back. It's probably not one that you want to open up this week. Give it a couple of years before you'd open it up. So as a present, it's great. Give it to someone, and then the next time that you're around at their place, maybe it's a year or two from now, force them to open it up for you. So that's the Penfolds Bin 389. A great long-term one.
Yeah, if you see it on the shelf, snap it up because, it's called Baby Grange, so, worth a look. I'm going to have a look at a wine from Wirra Wirra. They're a McLaren Vale winery, which we've had a look at some of their stuff before. This is the Church Block. Now, many of you will recognise this wine because it is one of the most popular going around in Australia. It's on most wine lists, you see it in many bottle shops, and there's good reason. It's consistently great value. We picked this up around the sort of late teens, around $17, $18 mark. It's a blend. It's a Cabernet, Shiraz and Merlot, a little bit more Cabernet this year, but they mix it around depending on what the quality of the grapes is like. Really good. It's a fairly big, meaty wine. Match it up with your barbecue meats and stuff and go down really well. Wirra Wirra have just had some really good success internationally with one of their wines. Their top Cabernet, overseas it's called the Dead Ringer, here it's called the Angelus. The 2004 vintage just picked up Best International Red Wine at one of the big London wine events. So congratulations to the team over there. Great job, great wine every year.
Yeah, they do some wonderful wines, and look, everybody around the world's now going to be drinking Wirra Wirra off the back of that trophy. Look, another wine that's going to get snapped up is our last for the week. This is the Grosset Polish Hill River Riesling. Now, the guys at Grosset, when vintage is done and they're getting ready for the release of the new wines, swing open the doors on the cellar door there, and 6 or 7 weeks later, close them again and wait till next year because all the wine's gone. They get snapped up. Wine collectors, wine buffs, and people who just love good quality wine, just flood them with orders and they sell everything that they've got, no problem. The reason being, this is possibly the best Riesling that you can lay your hands on, whether that be from Clare Valley, South Australia, Australia, internationally.
The world.
This is a brilliant wine. It has all of those kind of classic citrusy, lemony, green apple sort of flavours. I get a lot of kind of stony, flinty notes off it as well when it's young, but it is a Riesling that you can age. You could give this 15 plus years and probably still get an amazing wine. It's going to develop those sort of kerosene sort of notes on there, kind of more honey, liquid gold sort of notes. It's not cheap, $35 odd, so it's not exactly quaffing territory, but I've got to tell you, it is unbelievably good value. You could pay $100 and not get a better Riesling than this. So look, as I say, 6 odd weeks is the window of opportunity and getting your hands on some Grosset, so if you see them around, grab them before they're gone.
Yeah, and we've always talked about cheap bargain Rieslings. Well, if you can pick up the best one for about $35, surely it's worth a look.
It certainly is that. Look, and speaking of worth a look, we hope that we're worth a look next week when we see you then.
See you next week.